This is Bo Pilgrim at IA Blueprint. Today we're going to cover step 5 in the EZLynx Commissions setup process. In today's video we're going to set up commission rules or also service team rules. You can use those two terms interchangeably. The previous video was a bonus video to help you think through paying based off of the account level or the policy level. We're going to really cover, I'm going to touch on both of those at the end of it, but I'm going to set up the actual rules in this video and show you how to do that. So we'll start off, come in, you hover your mouse over the policy management folder here, go to service team rules, click there. This will bring you into the commission rules. Now I don't have anything set up just yet. If you have some, you may edit them or create new ones. But if you remember from the other video, there's a rule, there's an order that you need to apply here. The first one will be anybody we have as an external. Now you remember in a previous video, we created a lead source as a commissions. That's John C. Smith. So let's start there. We'll start there, then we'll create one for our internal employees, then we will create one for the catch-all. So new will be here. We'll click on add condition. Now it automatically defaults here to policy term type, and we'll go ahead and just say that it's new business. And then we're going to add a condition here. That's going to be, we want this one to be, remember, for our lead source. So we want to click on lead source here, and then we'll choose from the drop down John C. Smith. It will automatically list those for you if you've entered them. So the setup is you'll click on first, and it just kind of defaults to that policy term type. This is new business because we want to have a rule, one rule for new business, a different one for rewrites and renewals. Lead source is John C. Smith. Once you have that, you'll click on add payees. Now, you want to click on add here. This is going to be to the service team. Remember, we set up a service team rule of John C. Smith. See, it would give you a list of the different ones that we have here. We're going to select John Smith, and we're going to say what commission amount we want him to get. Let's say that it's 30%. He's referring these clients to us. He's a lead source. We're going to give him 30% of the business. All he does is just bring it to us. So again, remember, this is the first one. We're setting him up. We're going to choose pay as service team because that's how we set him up earlier. John C. Smith, and then agency, and then it will apply it as such. The next one is just going to name it, and this is going to be lead source. And then this is going to be new. So you want to designate, that. Now you want to make sure this stays as one. You can put a description here if you like. This will help you save, remember what it is. Once you're done, you can click on save. And then it'll bring you back to this window after it kind of loads the commission rules. And then you can see it here. See, it applies to all companies, all lines of business. You didn't change anything else. It's just applying there. This is going to be, since he's a lead source, you want this to apply for all producer codes. You don't want this to be limited here. Now you could limit it, but right now for our example, we're not. Now your next step is we want to create one for renewals and rewrites, right? We don't want, we want to pay him something on those. You may want to pay him nothing, but even if you want to pay him nothing, zero, you still want to create that rule, and this would be your number 2. You can either create a new rule or you can click on here, actions, and you can just copy it. And then what it will do is it will automatically default to pulling the same data. So you click here, change this. We want this to be for new business, not for new business. We want this to be for rewrites and renewals only. Still, this is for John C. Smith when he's the lead source. We'll click on add payee. Now remember, it already has him because we just copied it. Now you can just change this to whatever. You may set it to 0, or you may set it to, let's say that we set it to 10%. It's going to automatically put the rest of it to the agency. That can then be applied to other producers, CSRs, etc. if you want to. And then you just simply click on preview here. Now we want to get rid of this data, and we want to change this to renewal and rewrite. Again, you can put notes here. You want to leave this to number 2. and simply click on Save. Now you've got your two rules. Now let's create one for our internal people. What we're going to start with is going to be our employee. Now we only have one producer, that's Bo Pilgrim, that's listed, so we're going to start there. All right, so we're going to set up this new rule. So we're going to come to New. Now you could copy, but let's just start with New here. All right, and so the condition is this is a new policy that Bo Pilgrim has written. So we want to make sure that the policy type is new. We're going to click on Add, and then we're going to do Assigned Producer because we're paying it based off of the assigned producer on the account level here. So you would do service, assigned producer, and then do Bo Pilgrim. Click on Next. You'll put in here whatever the percentage is that he's going to get when you assign producer, and then put it here. Let's say that you're going to pay him 50% of the commission because Bo's a really good guy. So you want to make sure that you add this here where it's assigned producer. Again, this is going to use based off of the account level. This is paying based off of account level. Enter that here. This is for new business. The agency gets the rest of it. You'll click on Next. And this is Bo, new business. And then you'll simply click on Save. Now let's create one for him for renewals and rewrites because we're going to pay him a little bit less on those. So we'll copy that one, change this to renewal and rewrite. Seems not too hard. We already have this assigned. Again, here we're just going to change this to 30% instead, so the agency gets 70. Click on Review. Change this verbiage to renewal or rewrite. This wording doesn't do anything other than just let you know what it is. This is for your information. Okay, now let's say that you want to set up rules based off of paying by policy level. Now if you want to do that, it's a little bit different, not a lot different, but you would still have the ability to do policy term and then either new or rewrite. But then you add this condition here where you'll use the policy producer code. And this is where you then would enter in whatever the code is that you selected. How you find those, again, remember, are over here underneath your service, under your managed service team. I'm going to leave this for a second. And you see these initials? You'd have to list these. So like, for instance, this one right here, CW. So come back to your rule. Okay, so we know that we got CW as one of them. We're going to do policy type is, and we're going to do one for new, one for renewal. Now we need to add this one, and instead of choosing assigned producer, you're going to choose policy producer code. Type in the initials, it will find them, and then you click on Next. And then here you want to add the payee, and you want to change this to policy producer override here. And then it will just pull that code. And let's just say that we're going to do 30% for them, and then it's going to go the rest of it to the agency. Now this is where you would assign, remember this is CW, it's Charlie's wife, I think is what it is. And this is new. Okay. Save, and then we can just simply copy this to do the other. And let's just say that on this one, we're going to do 0. So again, it's the same process, except for we're going to change this to renewal and rewrite. And let's just say we pay them a salary based off of what they get some other fashion, and we don't want to do any commission. So you can do renewal, rewrite, click add here, and we're going to just change this to 0. This is just so you have the rule that it can apply to it, even though it's 0. You still want the rule. So come to next. This will be W. Right, and this is number 6. Okay, so we set up our rules for our outside people, our producer, that's going to be paid on account, and we also have this other one for people who would be paid based off of policy level. And then we want to create our catch-all. So the catch-all is going to be policy term, and you can do this for all of them if you like. Policy term is that, and then this agency is this. And what is going to happen if none of the other rules apply? This one will. And then I would just call this agency catch all. And then this will apply for everything else. So this is setting up of your rules. Now these rules are going to be applied by the account level, if that's how you want to go, or at the policy level. And the way that looks is if you come into the policy and edit it, remember this is based off of policy level. You know, John C. Smith, John C. Smith was a person, remember? Now this is a renewal, so it's applying this 10%. See how it did that? Now, if for some reason y'all weren't working together anymore, you could simply do that, and then it will clear it out. See, if for some reason it doesn't seem to clear it out, you can click here, click it again, and it should clear it out. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is that if you've got a policy that's got a lead source attached to it, such as here, this is going to apply. Remember, I told you that in the description when you're thinking about it, that it's going to apply this rule at the account level. So if John C. Smith is the lead source for this account, it's going to apply this rule regardless. You know, here. And it's going to, you know, if you have that as lead source, it's going to override this. So you may have to create an additional rule if you want to pay based off of lead source plus also producer. So keep that in mind that you have to do that. If you want one where it's going to pay John C. Smith and also Curly's wife, then you'd have to have a rule set up that would designate that, if that is an instance that applies. This is another example why maybe it's better to do it based off of the account level, so that way it applies there. That concludes this part of the video, step 5 on setting up your commission rules or your service team rules, which are found under here.